Innovation Unplugged from the Alabama Community College System's Innovation Center takes you inside Alabama's workforce development. Join us for enlightening conversations with community leaders and industry experts showcasing experiences, addressing key issues, and celebrating successes in the workforce initiatives across the state. Hey, welcome back, listeners, to this episode of Innovation Unplugged, and it is part 2 with Charles Jones, Regional Workforce Director of the Alabama Community College System. We're going to jump right back into where we left off last week.
Tell you something, I'm probably, like you said, probably shouldn't share stuff too much, but I think there's a market for us in the four-year institutions too. So I'm trying to broach that subject with some four-year institutions and let them make that part of their curriculum. You know, electrical helper, part of the electronics, the industrial maintenance piece at the four-year institutions, especially that one over in West Alabama. So I think there's some opportunity.
Well, you know, right across from, I shouldn't say this. I'm going to say it. Right across from our office in Montgomery is the University of North Alabama's government relations.
Okay.
Like when you pull out of the parking deck on that bottom, just add on whatever, it's right there. And I'm a UNA graduate twice.
Oh, I've seen it. Yeah.
So I can talk about them like I'm a Roar Lions, but it's there. And I don't know. I've never seen them across the street. I don't know. But I do know that all the 4 years are scrambling a little bit because there's that trend and going back to the 2-year degree or the trades, whatever. And rightly so for all the world. And no one's going to argue with that. But they're trying to get in the game. So to that point, if they went to the community college and a kid took all the heavy equipment stuff, like, man, that's 3 or 4 or 5, 6 credits.
Right.
Could be. What if what if the community college articulated that and then the 4-year accepted that into the construction program later, So I think you're on the right track. And I think that would be the appeasement for everybody, the negotiation to say, hey, we're all going to work together and the 4 years is going to take the non-credit student in and make him a credit.
Yeah, what has to happen there, though, is Big Brother. The legislature has to dictate that, because if you let the kids fight it out, I don't know, the parents going to probably have to step in and make that happen. But maybe, just maybe, I can reach somebody on the lower level and break an olive branch and we can partner up on some stuff.
And plant that seed.
Yep.
I think that from the outside looking in to the 4-year world, and really, I'd say from the outside of the system office, you guys are up there making those decisions, and we're out here shuffling and doing.
Trust me, I'm down here with you now, which is where I'd like to be.
Yeah, well, I think it's more fun down here. We get to get dirt on our boots.
Yeah.
Yesterday, I went to college to get some flooring material, and it was a fun thing because I was wearing jeans and boots and just running around getting dirty. Lifting stuff and trying to figure out, working with a guy who'd been in flooring for 40 years, the instructor who was instructor for the college but been doing flooring construction for forever, and then some other guys, and all these old dudes, just they were still after it, man. They were still having fun.
Oh yeah.
And we were digging through all this stuff, but it's fun being in that.
Do you do carpet on floor installer?
Oh, brother, we do hardwood.
I've seen the hardwood, the ceramic tile, the LVP,
and carpet.
Okay.
Yeah, we build. It's great because we're having. This will air after that lab, but with Jeff State, Lawson State. That's where it was just at Jeff State. And Pro is at Carpet One is the dealer. Don Roberts, Kay Whitener, Floor Covering Foundation. You know all them. They helped us get it going, but we were there to get some materials to take over to Roebuck area to have a class. Jeff State, Lawson State's our first regional lab, which is a question I have for you about that. I think we're going to get close out of time.
Yeah.
But,
well, I'm helping on the backside of that as well.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. But we're setting all that up. But in that course, we build an 8x8 base, 2x4s underneath, plywood on top, and then you put another rat plate. Some people call it different, knee wall.
It's a knee wall, so for the baseboard. I've seen it.
And so, so we put the different ways, but a lot of times people put the hardwood down first, and then they'll put the laminate on top of that, and then either they'll put the carpet down and then take it up and then put the tile down, or they'll put the tile, then more plywood, then carpet. So you end up with a nice stack.
Ingram actually has a platform for each.
Yeah.
They have 4 or 5 platforms, so they can all just do them separate.
Yeah, that's the best. Because they're in a really. And I was just talking to Julie about that this morning. that's the best arrangement with their setup, because they can leave everything out.
Yeah. I was stomping the ground in the Birmingham area. I got Gary up here, and we went on a field trip to all of the flooring companies.
Yeah.
I mean, we were deep down in some flooring companies that had been in business since the early 50s, and they hadn't changed a thing, and trying to get installers and in the back rooms, because I actually have 2 floor machines. So I'm actually talking to the mechanic out back, because all of the floor installers bring their equipment to him. So I'm trying to get names, and so we can get tied into the floor installers and find them some help. Yeah.
Well, and that's the thing too, is like, we're working to get those flooring companies involved, but man, they're busy out there hustling and quoting and serving, and
and it's a family business. Oh, well, John's about to graduate and he's going to come into the family business, which I have no problem with.
Sure.
But let's run John through this program, and then he will come out ahead.
Yeah, especially if John is going to be the salesman or the manager, he needs to know what it really takes to put the flooring down.
Yes.
And what is the time it's going to take. And I just seeing that, man. I tell this story all the time. Like, when you go through the electrical helper and you frame that house, you did carpentry, you did electrical, and now you're pulling that Romex through that wall.
Mm-hmm.
Navigating down a 6-foot wall. Like, there's just something that's different than other people who haven't done that.
And I tell a lot of my students when I taught K-12 that I'm not asking you to be an electrician or a plumber, but know all of the parts, because you could be like me in college one day and need a job at Home Depot, and you walk in and you know how to talk the talk. Hey, you're going straight out there on the floor as a salesperson. So if nothing else, outfit that utility belt. And so as a salesman, to be able to talk the talk and actually know what you're talking about to a customer, sure. That floor installer helper would be great.
Yeah. Well, that's coming up June 15th, 2 weeks, June 15th, June 22nd, Monday through Thursday it's called Bob's Flooring Center in Roebuck. Now it's something else, but it's going to happen. And we've got students from adult ed coming through at both Jeff State, Lawson State. They're going to get all 4,
Right.
And then we've got another session. We went ahead and put it on the calendar in July. So all listen on it. It's out there to have those groups, and they'll be able to do a little carpentry to build the base, put the flooring down. They're tearing up stuff too, and their wait time and the mixing. And what's cool about that too is there's so much wait time. There's prep. Like you have that idea of multitasking. Is if I'm a contractor, I'm not just doing this and sitting here waiting on this thing to do. I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna go do that. I'm gonna go do that, and then we'll come back and fix this. And that's just time management and making money.
Yep,
honey. So I'm really excited about all those. Gosh, my brain just squirreled.
Oh, I can build, because I got a crew that we were doing ceramic last week and doing LVP at the same time. So some of the wet set glue, you got to kind of let it get tacky before you start. So, floor installer help is very valuable. As a matter of fact, I might send one of my guys to that as well.
Well, does he want to start June 15th?
I don't know if we could do that.
And what's cool about that particular program, they get a toolbox when they're done, and actually they get it on day one, and they have to leave it every night. But when they're done, they use it. They use it through the course, their tools, and now they can take it to the job site. Knee pads, gloves, buckets, and toolbox. It's really cool. You said something earlier about getting the 4 years on board with articulating a pathway, and you said letting the kids fight it out is not the best way. And I love that. And I think it's actual. It's so actual, because I think about
letting the kids fight it out might be the best way. I just don't think they're going to fight it out. Yeah, without parental support from the legislators telling them you will work. It's like I'm an only child, but if your parents locked you up in the room and say y'all saw this, but by the time I come back, you're gonna come up with something because you want to go outside and play. So
exactly, and that's something. All things considered, our colleges do an amazing job with the Skills for Success dollars and courses. But every once in a while, we get in a situation where they've maximized their MOU. And they think they're out of money. They're not. They got reimbursements. I don't know where those are going. But then we still have dollars. We have cost plus ability, right? So what we've pivoted to is a regional lab idea where we just sent one out to some colleges yesterday from the Link in Birmingham. They've got a facility. They've got a handful of instructors. They've got a ton of people. who want to be trained, and they want to do a facilities maintenance. They want to do flooring, carpentry, electrical, flooring, and customer service. Okay, and they want to target hotels. And in the plumbing, they had to choose between plumbing and flooring because they're both kind of long. And so we pitched it to the colleges. We said, hey, here's the plan. Here's what we got. What do you want to do? There's 3 of them in the area. You can own the whole thing and run it all, or you can choose one particular course, or you can choose already. Like it was kind of like a buffet of what you want to get involved with. But basically, we let those colleges duke it out and have a little competition for it. And if they all get it, great. Come on, it's a fun party. If one says I own it, then we let them have it. We did the same thing for the on-site wastewater over in York. That's where it's going to go, or Demopolis. But I sent it to Selma and Coastal and Bishop and Southern, Shelton, and I think Reed State too. And Charday at Selma was like, I got it. Like almost immediately, she said, Selma wants this. Cool. And she said, we want the whole thing. We'll run all of it. So it's backhoe and on-site wastewater, so septic tank install. And it worked out well. Like I gave it and one took it. And
so on on-site wastewater, and this is probably going to eat up some of your time because I used to hold that license too, but I didn't put in enough septic tanks, so I let it lapse. But
sure.
So they're going to have the training, but they still have to go to UWA to take the test and get licensed.
Right. This is much like for water operators and wastewater operators anyway. Like you can work in the facility, but you have to have a certain amount of time before you can take the test. You have to have time in that type of facility. So the same way here, they'll be able, through the Alabama On-Site Wastewater Association, they helped us guide it. If they take these courses, it'll take time off of that requirement or some CEUs or something. So it'll count really well. But yeah, the backhoe, which needs to be piloted too, they'll dig the hole, dig the field line trenches, set a new tank. We're setting new tanks. We're not working with any raw products in this course.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fiberglass tank, not a concrete tank.
I'm sure. Yeah. Fiberglass. That's what was in the course. And backfill with gravel. But in that, they're doing the trenching and shoring, and all the things. And so it's going to be it's a 5-day course, but we kicked it out and let Selma have it. And, I think it's ready.
Well, that's going to be very valuable because I don't know if you've kept up with Lowndes County and the problems that they have on site wastewater. So it would be very valuable to that area.
Absolutely. And I went 2 years ago or last year. I went to the Black Belt Women's Rising Conference, Utility Conference. I butchered the name. It was at the Demopolis Selma's building in Demopolis.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Workforce Center.
Yeah, Workforce Center. Been there 2 years in a row. And this last year, they had some grants rolling out, and a guy named Thad Goldman from York area, Sumter County, applied for the grant. So he and that organization are working together.
Great.
And Thad's our instructor for the wastewater side.
Good.
And probably not backhoe. He said he didn't want to do that part too, but he said, hey, we'll solve this problem, and we'll do it in a dirt field or at the Demopolis campus, whatever. But we might install some new stuff for actual people. And then him being the licensed contractor, he said, I'll do the connection, but we'll do the digging and the setup for the people. So not only will the students get the experience, they'll see the person that they're helping.
Yes.
And if you've never had a septic tank that works, or you've got one that doesn't work,
I put a bunch of them.
Or never had one and it's just running out.
I've seen one fail.
Okay, yeah. So like the joy of having a functional septic tank is something people don't appreciate a lot of times. So I think that's going to be really good. And in that area, working with all the folks over there in that part of the state, man, like it's going to be cool. Okay, so some years ago, and man, it's been a fun ride. We got involved with 4 vets, skilled trades of Sumter County, LaShawn Wallace, and I met that dude through you and Gary. We went down to the old Sumter County High School, and I fell in love with the need for, as I just didn't know, Charles.
Yeah.
Like I say this, man, like I grew up in a different place. I never saw that kind of rural. I lived on a farm. I got some stuff on my boots right now that, it's probably not work appropriate, but I didn't grow up in a place like that, and I didn't understand the need for all things, infrastructure, training, opportunity. right? And it changed a lot and made what we do really important. So from that perspective, how does the community college system really dive into that kind of area that is in such a need for what we offer?
Well, we got to take it to the people. And this is the prelude to what you and I have been texting back and forth
Yeah.
with the RV.
Yeah.
I got the RV from Trenum, and my boss hopefully is going to help me send it back to Tiffin Motorsports or Tiffin Homes and go through it. And we're going to cater programs that can go into the rural area. This thing, it's double slides. So I do believe, one of the challenges we have when we go into rural areas with skills of success programs is, of course, we have to set up porta johns. We have to get classroom leases, or we have to actually have lab space. We can take all that on wheels. Only, obviously when we do a dozer or excavator or skid steer, we got to have land outside, but bathrooms on site, air on site, classroom on site. And LaShawn, what you and I both saw is he had a passion for trying to help the people in the Black Belt, and literally turning the dining room into a classroom.
He sure did.
And he still calls me, and we still work. So we're gonna get back into that, because he's still training, and he's got a lot of grants that are coming into him, but some of the training is over the top. And of course, he tells me it was necessary, but I know he was doing an OSHA 30, and I was like, well, shouldn't we just be doing OSHA 10? And he says, well, the employer wanted OSHA 30, and I was like, well, OSHA 30 is generally for supervisors, but and he paid a premium to do it. But that's neither here nor there. He is training people day in and day out, and I think and that's just one area of the Black Belt that needs service. And of course, Lowndes County, Wilcox County, those two counties need help as well. But you have somebody in LaShawn who's very passionate with for vets, and we're going to try to go and help him get some of those skills for success courses, because he's still doing some stuff for the charter school there in Livingston. They do stuff through Wallace, but then he also does some, I think, bulldozer and skid steer training for him. We do fiber optics and customer service and some other stuff. But I think if we can get all of that tied together, we're going to actually make some differences in some lives.
You said that tied together, and I've had that thought for a long time, that in Huntsville it's that way for aerospace, okay, which is a totally different world. But in these areas where people have been surviving, in just doing what they've always done, which is what we know, and it's how we get through. But you got communities who have needs, and you've got people who want to work, and then you have educational training entities around, and it's like they circle each other in this weird fog, but there's never like a hard mesh where you wrap a container around all of them and say, hey, listen, let's look each other in the eye and let's all get this cohesive plan. I've struggled with that at Calhoun some when I was there, and in this role specifically, like, as I get into these hot messes where I've brought all these people to the table and I didn't do my homework, or something just didn't work right, and I've not been successful at really corralling everybody into a cohesive unit sometimes. What's the trick to that in areas where you're coming from the outside and, gosh, I'm from the government, and they're like, what are you doing? Go away.
Well, yeah, and now I'm on the other side, and I'm from the government as well. But I do believe if I can get all presidents on board with this RV, and we just run it through all of these rural counties, regardless of whose service area.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put everybody's logo on it. When I
Right.
get through with this thing, it's gonna look like NASCAR. And if we're in, say, Pickens County, and I think that's Bevel, could be a little bit of Shelton, but we're going to put our, I guess, territorial hats on the shelf and service people. And we don't really, I won't say we don't care who gets the credit, but everybody gets the credit. So,
and that's what we wanted to do with the regional labs, is to get them all in the same room and say, just work together. Because at the end of the day, you're serving somebody, and you're going to get your cost plus a certain percentage back so you're not going to lose money.
Well, and,
That's always the thing. It always goes back to dollars. But so, what is the conversation you have with the community? How would you approach a community person and say, "Hey, we got this thing, and we got multiple colleges, and I just need you to trust me and just sign up right here"? Like, how do you get them to jump into the program?
well, the first word you've tackled, and it's free.
Okay, sure.
Whenever you go in and say it's free, I mean, you got my attention. It's not going to cost me anything. So after that, you do have some people, what's in it for me? Well, there's nothing in it for you, but it's a lot in for your constituency, which actually pays tax dollars to you, or which actually will bring that money back into this community.
Mm-hmm.
So, like with anything, like with the employers we discussed earlier, educational becomes, an education piece becomes part of it. But I do believe if we can get those people on board with the free first and the outcome, what we need, and I don't know if you have a mechanism to track it, is pay stubs. What you need, and I used to do this all the time when I would talk to students, but more so not so much the students, but to the parents. I would,
Yeah.
a career tech day, or I've been in churches, and I ask the church if they don't, I carry a projector in the trunk. And what I throw up is either a W-2 from a student or a December pay stub. December pay stub works better because
Why December?
Because that's the last pay stub you got for the year. So it's got your year-to-date
Oh,
totals
the
on it.
cumulative. That's right.
It's
Okay.
got the cumulative on it. So now we can see what this student did, regular hours, overtime hours, per diem, and what the year-to-date is for that student. And when I throw that number up, especially for a welding student, and they look at and I said, now just do the math. He didn't have to work, and I don't know that he worked all 12 months, but just look at what he made in a year. But let's just take what he made for the week, and let's just say he worked half a year. Man, I was coming up with $300,000.
Yeah.
I had parents come up to me. I think I want a career change. I'm like,
Absolutely.
well, where can I sign up? So once you get those parents on board, hey, they will start to push that kid. Similar to my mama making me go out there and take that job in radio.
Yeah.
And, I can't thank her enough because my subject and verb are agreeing today. And I guess my diction is a little better for it. But I do believe that we have to educate. And I don't know that we put enough in our budgets, because me coming from advertising and radio, I've always told people, and because I've been in business too, small business, the first thing that we cut out of a budget is advertising, because it's easy. It's but I used to have something printed on the back of my card about a guy will wake up in a bed that he wake up from a bed that he bought, shave with a razor that he bought, driving a car that he drives to a job or to his office. But when his business closes, that's when he wants to advertise that he's going out of business, and he should have been advertising the entire time. So I say that to say that we probably should invest in educating parents and educate. We advertise that we got this course going, but do we educate the parent? Kids today, all they know is the phone. And I just left a Go Build Alabama workshop, and they're doing a heavy education piece, and they're turning to the TikToks and the Instagrams and the social media, because they've gotten away from commercials because kids don't listen to
Nobody's
them.
watching this.
Yeah, they're watching YouTube. But I do believe we need to try to educate the parent, because the parent is still feeding the child, and they can, well, you're going to do this or else.
Mhm.
I think we're still trying to reach the kid, but the kids, and I hate to say it, they're lazy. They are lazy, but we got to get them off the couch. And our last hope might be the parent.
Yeah.
To say, you're going to get off my couch and go to work.
Well, my wife is an amazing woman, and we have a group chat in the family.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she and my son and myself, and we're always sending him stuff. But like she's on all the social media platforms and probably spends more time there than she should, I think. But
Did she watch this program, by the way?
No.
Okay.
No, that's why I can say that.
Oh,
I won't be in trouble when I get home.
Tell me.
But what she does really well is she'll see these things about different jobs and careers and whatever, because the kid's still 17, he might choose 12 things, you know,
Mhm.
one of 12. But you're right, and she's always sending him new things, and I do it too. What I see from like LinkedIn. But I think you're exactly right, and we could even target, and I'd say this, and I'm gonna say this from my K-12 experience. It's not the young parents a lot of times in today's world in Alabama.
Mhm.
It's not the young parents that you need to target, even the ones who are like in their early 30s or late 30s that have 10, 12, 14-year-old kids.
Mhm.
It's the grandmamas
Yeah.
and the aunts and uncles.
Yeah.
And I say that just out of pure passion. That's who is raising a lot of children in
Yeah.
Alabama.
Yeah.
And so, and I'm thinking, you know, our marketing team, system office, innovation center too, like what would it take if we did a campaign for 6 months or a year where we went after those grandmamas and aunts and grandpas and grandmas and whatever, even big sisters,
Mhm.
you know, who are in their 50s or 60s raising whatever. So what does that look like, man, on a grassroots? And we've talked about this at the system office when LaShawn and all those guys got going over there. We had several conversations about something
Mhm.
in that area because it's different.
Mhm.
You know, the economy is different, the demographics are different, the money's
Well,
different.
yeah, and unfortunately, most of the people we trained in that area had to leave that area to do work,
Yeah.
and I get that. Our day is coming in West Alabama. I mean, we've overpopulated, we've over industrialized a large part of the state, and that's the last frontier. So,
Mm-hmm.
and that's one of the reasons I actually went to teaching. I was on the industrial development board in West Alabama, and we lost Kia
Yeah.
because they were on the borders of Alabama. And of course, they located in Georgia because they wanted to be just across state lines so they could have another set of senators in their pocket. But one of the reasons they gave us is we don't feel that you have enough trained workforce
Mm-hmm.
for automotive. Mercedes is closed, and we're going to be fighting for employees. And that's one of the reasons I went into teaching. As I said, the next time somebody comes to West Alabama, it's not going to be the excuse is not going to be that you don't have a trained workforce. And I think, yes, we are losing some people. We're training them in West Alabama, and we are losing them, but they will come back if something is back there for them. So we still need to train them in West Alabama. Uh,
Yes.
so I don't think we need to give up on the fact, but where I was going with that is we need to get some check stubs from those people who have gone through training out of West Alabama. And you're not going out of 10, you might only hit 3 that are doing real well. The other 7 or other 5 might be on a shovel in a laborer's position, trying to get to the skid steer, trying to get to the. But I think what we do in Skills for Success is we show the employer that this is somebody who has the fortitude to go through the theory and then go through this program, which means they're committed to trying to do it.
Mm-hmm.
If nothing else, we're vetting employees for employers. But yeah, I think if we could get some check stubs or W-2s,
I never thought about getting
you
the
would
actual
not
thing.
believe what that thing does. I got a couple of them from
Yeah.
students, and these students have no student loans. I mean, these are students who've gone through our programs, and they're out there welding, making $300,000-$400,000 a year. Got the truck, got the pull behind camper, and no student loan.
And not only that, it was we just picked up basically a financial sense course. It's
Mhm.
it's be a module or two
Yes.
onto the end of everything.
Mhm.
Like it's just embedded, and it's from the Federal Securities Exchange Commission.
It's great.
They heard about us, caught it, whatever.
It came up yesterday in Winston County
Yeah.
that we need to do some financial literacy because the plant manager of a plant up there is talking about, he's got these guys that are, he'll come in and want to borrow money from him, and he's at the vending machine buying a $4.99 energy drink
Yeah.
because he can't understand that he can go to Walmart and get 2 for $5.
Well,
Because he's in that, what I like to call it, a hamster on the wheel. He's just
yeah.
running. He can't see the big picture.
I know for a fact right now you can get Monsters at some places 3 for $8,
Really?
and Red Bulls are not. Red Bulls are 2 for $6. It's not
And
the same.
I've gotten hooked, and it's not a good thing.
Which one?
Celsius and Alani.
Yeah.
Alani cotton candy.
Okay. It's
Very sweet. You'll be sucking your tongue, but man, when you're on the road like I am,
yeah, gotta have something. I've got the new lemon something lime something in my
I
Red Bull.
was
I'm like,
talking to Jennifer Hall at a
yeah,
conference, and she's was telling me, I think I might have been doing Celsius, but she was saying, "Well, you'll like Bloom," and I have another daughter who's a school teacher, and yeah, she's on Bloom.
yeah. I've not seen that one. Um, it's so funny, but you're right. And I've seen those kids. We at Calhoun. We did the line worker program. We did a financial thing with them
Mm-hmm.
because those kids are coming out making $100,000
Yep.
first year
Yep.
with overtime if they were on a road contracted.
And I try to tell my welding students, you can't do this the rest of your life. Your eyes are
No.
just not going to. So, yeah, you need to put that money back. Yeah, go buy that truck. I know you want that truck, and I know you got to get that camper to go out there because a lot of them want to go, oh, I want to weld on the pipeline. Yeah, do that if you want to, but save your money.
Well, yeah. Oh my gosh, yes. I've got a personal creative project I'm doing, and I've got a couple of guys who are in business, small business, accounting. They're CPAs. I'm like, I need y'all to come on and talk about that.
Mm-hmm.
Not your company corporate things, but hey, what does it mean to set a budget? And
Right.
because I know folks my age, they're still trying to figure out how to make a budget. Sometimes I do. What about the highway that's coming over there out of Mobile?
Yeah.
The West Alabama.
West Alabama corridor. Hopefully, with new government administration, phase 2 will be let. And of course, we're clearing right away right now that we feel that it's going to be let. If it doesn't, it'll be a highway to nowhere, and that's not going to look good on anybody's political resume. But uh, Brassville Gorey is the overall general contractor. They're looking to hire 750 people for this project. Brassville alone will hire 150. Their subs will hire the rest. We're trying to do some short-term training. Right now, working with you, trying to do a combination for Brassville of carpenter helper and survey helper. Because they have because they are the overall general contractor, so they pretty much are just using grade stakes and what's my survey term? Stations.
Yeah, total station.
Total stations and station points. But the actual road building contractor could actually use skid steer, bulldozer, carpenter helper, because you got drop inlets all over the place. I mean, it's not building a house, so it's not fine carpentry, but you need to be able to cut lumber and piece it together, screw it together, shoot it together. So we're trying to do some training for them through Skills for Success.
Yeah.
They wanted to do something long term because Brassville actually has their own training facility in Birmingham.
They sure do.
But I just told the guys at Brassville, I can't see anybody taking off and trying to do an 8-week course. And
Can't do it.
And you haven't hired them. You're going to hire them out of the course. Now, if you hire them, then they become your employee. Then we could do some sort of training through the community college. But for Skills for Success, we can bring them in, vet them, give you a like I said earlier, an employee who has the fortitude to do this. And then once you hire them, we can do the long-term training, something, a hybrid of what they do in Birmingham.
Yeah, and that's what we've always pitched, Charles, is, hey, this kid is going to have just this much knowledge, and you see the worth in that, and you see the human. That's a good employee.
Mm-hmm.
And now they've got this little skill set, a couple of little tools. I'm gonna bring them on. I'm gonna kick them out in the big. That's exactly our model forever. We never intended to be the masters. And
now you will get a special employee that's
Yeah.
a natural.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you might actually put him on a piece of equipment day one, but we wouldn't have found him had
Yeah.
he not gone through the program. So
Well, and I think all those cats that did all the heavy equipment with LaShawn and Selma, that had to go to Mississippi or Tuscaloosa, wherever to work Mobile, they can come home
that's right.
and make $25, $30 an hour running machinery.
Oh yeah,
Then that's an easy dollar.
and slowly can bring that money back home to the community. Yep.
Yeah. I think that's a valuable. You mentioned the carpentry helper and land survey technician. We were supposed to have this week at Calhoun, and no fault of theirs. It did make some recent high school graduates to take land survey helper, land survey technician, and skid steer. Mark out a pad, survey it out, stake it, stake the grade, shoot the grade, build it, and then come back and measure it. Pew Wright McAnally, big supporter of it. They were the idea behind it, and it didn't make the kids. It's just a bad time of year for that. But we could do that in West Alabama.
Yeah.
And it'd be a great. And now they've got 3. They run joysticks. They understand how dirt moves. They can do the surveying, and they can frame up a little bit. And that's a week. That's a week, Charles.
Yeah,
It's a week of training of
Yeah.
in the person training.
Yeah.
So what if we had the Skills for Success dollars funding the actual training, and we had Paths for Success funding transportation, lunch, whatever. I'm speaking out of my head here.
You know, and I don't even know, and I probably shouldn't say this on the record, but I just left a CICT.
Yes.
I think you could probably write a grant, a CICT grant, to actually fund your equipment rental. And man, you wouldn't have it, for colleges. It would be pure profit almost.
Yeah. I used those guys a lot before Skills Success came around, and there was a brief moment where they said we could partner, and they're like, "No, you got your own budget, bigger than ours."
Yeah.
So,
but
now
I think if you fashioned it in like what you're just talking about, like a series of courses, and fashioned it as a construction mini series,
Yeah.
I think that the semantics of that would fly.
There are two guys on that board that should understand. Pretty influential people. We'll see. All right, Charles, we have covered a lot in this longer episode now, 2 parts. And I'm so thankful. It's been 20 years this year since my father passed, and so when I'm around, I look for guys who know things, who can keep teaching me perspective or skills, in the next years of my life. So I've always found that with you and Gary, just the wealth of life experience. And so in hearing you put out some of this stuff and validate some things that we thought, but just sharing your experiences with us. And I think someone out there is going to benefit from this knowledge.
I hope so.
In this conversation, because you just tell it in a way that is so natural and authentic, which the most interesting man in the community college system.
I don't know about that. That would be Jimmy Baker.
Yeah. No, he was episode 100.
You should hear his stories, man.
Yeah.
I just go down to listen.
Yeah, I could all day. Well, final thoughts. What would you want people to take away from this conversation?
Well, and and I know this is being fueled, or the impetus of this was the Innovation Center and Skills for Success, and I just, my reasons for being here is to make sure that we have a trained workforce.
Yeah.
And I think what you're doing is good work. I've sometimes been accused of promoting you a little too much. I mean, I promote ATN as well as our colleges, but I generally look for a solution, the fastest, the best solution for the problem when it comes to educating our workforce. And I've seen that this is the easiest way to get somebody into the door. And it's like I tell the colleges, I brought them to the well. Now you got to, if you want them to sit here and drink. But I think we do have to have a ready, trained workforce, because more industry is coming to the state of Alabama, and we need to be ready. It's not one of those things they come here, because I've seen that happen in West Alabama with the axle company that I think went to Bolagie and ended up pulling up stakes and moving a little further north up to Vance because the workforce just wasn't trained.
Yeah.
So we got to have multi-skill, have people with that Batman utility belt ready to go. And as long as you guys keep giving us another tool to put in our belt, we're going to keep pushing it and keep training the Alabamians.
Yeah. Well, with the blessing of the chancellor and your team and the legislator, that's exactly what we plan to do.
That's right.
So,
we hopefully we keep getting more money because we put it to good use.
Yeah, every day, man, every single dollar. Good. Well, thanks for being here.
Sure thing.
I know you've got 1,000 things cooking, but I appreciate you.
Sure
for
thing.
Sure. This has been another great episode of Innovation Unplugged. Remember, all things Skills for Success is at trainforalabama.com. Remember to like, subscribe, and share this podcast, and we'll see you soon. Thank you.